I'm headed out on a trip to speak at a travel conference in one of my favorite cities, Vilnius in Lithuania. With its beautiful old town, cozy cafes, and surprising food scene, Vilnius has quietly become one of Europe's most underrated destinations. So, I thought I'd bring you along for the journey and share a few travel tips I've picked up along the way. So let's go. Seriously, they're cheap, they work, and your anxiety levels will drop just a little bit when your bag disappears behind an airline curtain. In fact, a lot of airlines are actually using them to track lost luggage, so it's a great investment. And not just for airlines either. If you leave your bag in a hotel or you have it sent on ahead of you, they're a great way to make sure it's going where you're going. Prepare before you get to the security belt. That means belt off and in your bag, watch off and in your bag, phone in your bag. Make sure that your laptop section is open and you can grab it easily. Same with your toiletries. That way, you won't be that guy that we're all waiting for. Something that struck me during my time in Vilnius is just how safe it is. And while my security for myself and my belongings is of no concern when walking these streets, it is a core aspect of travel. And so I feel I must include this next tip. I can't believe I have to say this, but I still see so many people making this mistake. Do not carry your passport around with you when you're exploring a destination. Please. The amount of people that do this and then are surprised when it gets lost or stolen is overwhelming. And you do it in such a cavalier way, like in your back pocket. If you feel like you must have ID on you, and I can't recall a single instance where I've ever needed it, then bring a photocopy of your passport or at least a picture on your phone. But carrying around the real deal with you is asking for trouble. Do you want to go to the railway station? Get the local transit app. Rather than having to battle with machines, kiosks, queues, language barriers, that kind of thing, a local transit app will help you plan your journey and in many cases, buy your ticket or daily pass right there in the app, often for a discount. They'll also have up-to-date scheduling information, which Google Maps doesn't always have, so well worth grabbing when you're in town. The one here in Vilnius is Trafi. I can buy tickets, daily passes, and see transit schedules all in English. Handy and very in keeping with Vilnius's tech-forward and sustainable reputation. I know you are all sick of me saying this, but this is a hill I will absolutely die on once I've walked up it. The best way to experience a city or a destination of any kind is on foot. Yes, you're going to need public transport to cover the longer distances, but if you have to make the choice between a 10-minute metro ride and a 25-minute walk, choose the walk. When you do, a city's rituals and rhythms will unfold all around you, something you cannot experience if you're trapped in a subway car or even on a bus. And in a place like Vilnius with its beautiful old town, cobblestone streets, you're denying yourself that pleasure if you trap yourself inside public transport. So strap on those LA gears and get out there. This one took a long time for me to get comfortable with. I've got no shame in admitting, and that is swallow your pride. You are, by definition, a tourist, so embrace all of the tourist information and resources that wonderful cities like Vilnius provide for folks like you and me. Go into the tourism information centers and yield to their recommendations. They're going to ask you some questions about what you're into, what you're interested in, and invariably you will get great recommendations, often based on what you tell them you're interested in. They'll recommend places to see, places to eat, often places that you would walk right by if you'd not come and ask for their expertise. I particularly like this tourism information center in the middle of Vilnius. I wonder if you can figure out why. And finally, a lot of cities, including Vilnius, offer programs like Meet a Local, where you can, as it says on the tin, meet a local. It's a fantastic way to get a unique perspective on a city. Don't eat in hotel restaurants. Correction, don't eat in your hotel restaurant. Yes, many hotel restaurants are absolutely fine. In fact, in some cities, they're the best restaurants in town. but your hotel restaurant is off limits. Why? Well, if you stumble from your hotel room to your hotel restaurant and back again, you're never going to get out and actually explore the city you find yourself in. And being hungry, hungover, or dangerously undercaffeinated are all great motivators for getting out there and finding what ails you, like this. Need a coffee? Head out of your hotel and grab one from a local coffee shop. And hey, who knows? You may discover your new favorite baked good in the entire world. Need a beer? Don't drink in your hotel bar. Come to where everybody else is. Places like Palpio Turgis, where you can experience local beers that everybody's just gotten off work wanting to have a great time. In a lot of countries, including my home country, you have the idea of the supermarket meal deal, where for lunch, you get a sad sandwich, a packet of crisps, and a Ribena. But in a lot of countries, especially in places like this in Lithuania, where home cooking is the backbone of the food culture, the idea of a sad sandwich for lunch is an abomination. So you don't have the meal deal. You have something called the business lunch, which you will get in restaurants all over cities like Vilnius, like here at Christoforis. And for the same amount of money, you don't get a sad sandwich. You get beautiful dishes like this, shrimp gyoza, or a tomato soup and a sandwich for 6 or 7 euros. So ditch the sad sandwich, look for the business lunch. Not sure which street food stall or seasonal pop-up you should try? Just look for the crowds. There is no better endorsement than popularity. And an added benefit is that since a lot of people are ordering, the turnover will be faster, and it's much more likely your food will be cooked fresh and not sat out waiting for you to order it. And hey, if you follow the crowds, you never know. You might stumble across something as amazing as Vilnius's Pink Soup Festival. Yes, it's a thing, and yes, it's absolutely glorious. I always seek out food markets whenever I travel. Sorry, I could not help myself. They are a veritable cornucopia of fresh produce and prepared food. They are also, just as importantly, a reliable point of entry for local food traditions and meals. You'll find the raw materials for the day-to-day meals that a city thrives on. It will also be seasonal, local, and in many cases, extremely well priced. Want to know if a food market is legit? Pro tip. Look for the old ladies with their shopping bags. That will tell you two things. The first is that the quality is good enough for them, and if they're okay with it, then you're definitely going to be okay with it. The second thing is you're probably not going to get gouged. It's affordable. If grandma's doing her daily shop here, it's not going to be price prohibitive. And the great thing about Vilnius, which in my mind makes it reasonably unique in the world, is that you've got this beautiful old market hall full of the wonderful raw materials to cook with, as well as prepared traditional Lithuanian food you could eat right there, as well as this, Palpio Turgis, the modern take on the classic food hall. Don't be intimidated by fine dining. It can actually be one of the best ways to understand and experience a local food culture because it will invariably be hyper-local and hyper-seasonal. I learned this here in Vilnius at the incomparable Demo, a Michelin-starred restaurant featuring the best of local, seasonal Lithuanian fare. And it was surprisingly affordable too. A must if you are ever in this part of the world. Don't just try and eat like a local, schedule like one too. Find out when people eat, drink, shop, and rest, and follow suit. Eating dinner at 6 p.m. in Madrid or turning up to a market at noon in Hanoi aren't just awkward experiences, they're missed opportunities. Those natural rhythms are a fantastic way to truly experience a destination. Yummy. If you're in a new city, book a street food tour. It's one of the easiest ways to dive straight into the local food scene. Depending on where you are, it might be food carts, markets, tiny little back alley spots, all the stuff you'd probably miss on your own. They usually run just a few hours, the food's included, and you'll not only eat well, you'll get a solid introduction to the city, its history, and its culture as well. Set up Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever on your phone before you leave home. That means you don't have to faff with currency exchange, especially at airports where it is invariably a ripoff, or run the risk of buying more cash than you end up needing. And your transactions are, by definition, far more secure. There's no risk of your card being lost or stolen or cloned.
And a lot of places, like here in Vilnius, are becoming increasingly cashless, which I'm a big fan of, by the way. Just make sure you use a card that doesn't charge you foreign transaction fees, or at the very least, pays you back when you get home. Challenge yourself to learn 10 words in the local language and actually use them. This is not about being fluent, but if you can say hello, thank you, please, I'm sorry, etc., with a little bit of confidence and a little bit of eye contact, people will notice. It's not about perfection, it's about respect.
And I can't resist mentioning, here in Lithuania, it's fun to learn the word for thank you, which is, rather wonderfully, ačiū. If you liked a city, heck, if you didn't like a city in one season, try visiting in a completely different season. If Vilnius has taught me anything, and it's taught me a lot, your experience in a city will change drastically with the seasons. Our first attaché visit here was during the dead of winter. It was freezing, but the city offered beacons of warmth throughout. When we returned in the summer, Vilnius was alive with outdoor activities, cold beer, and warm sun. So don't let a single visit define a city's vibe for you. So there you have it, a few tips and tricks that I lean on every time I travel. And yes, these are all tips, tricks, and recommendations I personally use, so they have the Alex Hunter's seal of approval. Something else that has that seal of approval is the wonderful city that provided the backdrop for this episode, Vilnius in Lithuania. You've heard me talk about Vilnius in past episodes, but it's very hard to overstate how fond I am of this city. This was my 6th trip back to the Lithuanian capital, and I have now visited in all seasons and all weathers. And Vilnius never fails to make me feel, well, good. I think it's the archetype of what a modern European city can and should be. Interesting, innovative, clean, delicious, and full of character. I appreciate it might not have been on your radar until recently, but I urge you to get there as soon as you can. And then come back and tell me and the attaché community just how much you love it.